Good morning, afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time you're at. We're right at that lunchtime hour, so I know some people still has morning. It's really irrelevant. I'm just kind of chatting, just kind of stalling a few seconds here. I want to have a quick little encouragement that I really wanted to speak with you guys today. I want to talk about faith, and there's a phrase, I know, I'm just jumping right in. So there's a phrase a lot of us hear often, and we hear a lot say it's not about the quantity, it's the quality. And we hear about this mustard seed of faith, and then sometimes we're like, well, what the heck does a mustard seed of faith, what is it really going to do? What does it really mean? And this morning while I was kind of picking up, I had my radio going, and I just felt the Spirit of the Lord really just speak to me like he's in a good mood this morning. Finally, after he's been crying. Really heard the Spirit of the Lord speak to me concerning the mustard seed of faith. So I wanted to speak to somebody today who is feeling that they don't have the faith required or that it's needed for a certain situation they're facing. I want to talk to somebody's faith that you feel like it's not enough, that you don't have the big faith, that you don't have the kind of faith it will take to move a certain kind of mountain that's in your way. I want to start with a well-known verse. We all know this. We all speak it. We hear it. I'm going to read probably a couple of different ones, but all basically the same verse. So Matthew 17:20 says, "And Jesus said unto him, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible for you." We say, okay, what is this mustard seed thing? And these are mustard seeds. Now, I didn't take one out of the bag. Oh, I might have to, shoot. I don't know if you can see that clearly. There's a bunch in there. I have this hanging on my prayer wall to remind me this is all I need. And I don't even need this whole bag. It just happens to be what came in the package. One of those. It's a very small thing. Don't know if I can get one out with these nails on, but I might try. One of these. Say, this is a mustard seed. And Jesus says that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed. Oh, shoot. I just lost the seed. Yeah, I can't do it. Size of a mustard seed, that we can literally move a mountain with this. So as I started pondering that verse, and I started pondering these seeds, because I know what they look like. Like I said, they're on my prayer wall, so I see them all the time. What does that really mean, God? I get frustrated sometimes, especially when you keep hearing something and you can't really understand it. Like you hear the logic of it, but you don't understand the spirituality of it, that kind of thing. He just puked on me. Great. So God, what do you mean? And all of a sudden, I was reminded of another story in the New Testament. Spit up on his mom and he thinks it's funny. Another story in the New Testament. And then I'm going to tie back around to mustard seed. And it's in Mark chapter 9. And I'm going to start at verse 17. And this is talking about a father who brings his son to Jesus. Well, first he brings the sons to the disciples because Jesus was doing other things. So it says, "And someone from the crowd answered him, 'Teacher, I brought my son to you. He has a spirit which makes him unable to speak. Whenever it seizes him, it throws him down, and he foams at the mouth, grinds his teeth, and becomes rigid. I asked your disciples to drive it out, but they couldn't. And he replied to them, 'You unbelieving generation, how long will I be with you? How long will I put up with you? Bring him to me.'" That there, preaching itself, "Bring him to me." So they brought the boy to him. And when the spirit saw him, it immediately threw the boy into convulsions. He fell to the ground and rolled around, foaming at the mouth. "How long has it been happening to him?" Jesus asked the father. "From childhood," he said. "And many times it has thrown him into the fire or water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help him." How many have been there in this kind of situation to where you were so desperate for God to do, that's the very thing you say, if you can do anything, just have compassion on us. And immediately the father of the boy cried out, I skipped a verse. And Jesus said, if you can, everything is possible to one who believes. So he's asking a question. If you can, like Jesus, like, are you crazy? If you can, do you know who you're talking to? Do you know who you've come to? And immediately the father of the boy cried out, I believe, help my unbelief. And this is where the mustard seed really come to life to me a few minutes ago. And when so basically Jesus goes on, heals the boy. But I love it because it said, I believe. So there was a portion of faith to this father. Help my unbelief. Let me pause there for 1 second. A seed is potential. When God says that if you have the mustard seed of faith, it means you have the potential to move a mountain. Why potential? Because this in a bag, on a wall, in a packet, has no power, has no ability, it has no authority yet. But if you do the proper steps with the seed, what will happen is the seed will go to the ground, it will die out, and then life springs up. This is what a mustard seed tree looks like. It's a very, very large tree. Now, there's a couple of different strands and all that. We won't go into it, but it's a mustard seed tree. The potential of a tiny seed can grow into this. Now, I said, Lord, how is that the mustard seed of faith? The Father, when he says, I believe, he had enough faith to bring him to Jesus. He had enough faith to give him to the disciples and let them try to drive out the spirit. He had enough faith to continue to wait for Jesus to come back. He had enough faith to again try one more time and say, Jesus, they could not, but if you can, be compassionate and do it twice. He had the potential of a mustard seed there. It had room to grow. And when he came into the presence of Jesus, we see what happened. It grew. So when he says, I believe, that was his mustard seed. That's all it took. It was a genuine faith because it says, I am desperate. I know that I can't do nothing for my son. These men can't do nothing for my son, but I'm going to wait it out a little bit longer. I'm going to wait for the presence of Jesus to return here, and I'm going to see if he can do something. And he says, help my unbelief. The potential of the seed become the tree. The potential of the seed become the tree because he waited even after discouragement, even after being told no, even after a change didn't happen for his son. He dug his soles and he dug his feet in, and he grew from a seed to a tree. The mustard seed of faith is your potential to move the mountain. The growth is when you wait on Jesus to enter the scene and give him your most trusted thing. That son was that man's treasured value. It was his precious jewel. He was valuable to him. And yet, even when the disciples couldn't do nothing, he didn't walk away. Even when the crowd, I'm sure, was even more pressured, he didn't move from his spot. And when Jesus come back into that place, he didn't quietly sit there and say, I wonder if he's going to recognize me. I wonder if he's going to pull me out of the crowd. He was just like the woman with the issue of blood. When he pushed his way, he said, no, here is my son. These men couldn't do nothing. Fasting didn't do nothing. All the praying didn't do nothing. All the revivals didn't do nothing. But I'm standing here waiting for the presence of God to enter the scene and say, God, I'm right here. It couldn't happen before, but I believe it has the potential to happen today because Jesus can walk on the scene. And I want my faith, my seed of faith, to grow into a tree. What is into a tree? Life. Fruits is on trees. Actually, there's another verse. Let me see if I screenshot it. Where it, oh, dang it. His little belly is all over the place today. It actually says that the tree will be a resting place for those. Okay, I think it's Matthew 13:31. It says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed, which man took and sowed into the field, which indeed in the least of all seeds, but when it groweth, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. So it actually becomes a resting place for things around it. I just wanted to speak to somebody's faith who's been discouraged, who's been told no, who didn't get their prayer answered the way you wanted it to, who has been into a place Don't stop waiting for Jesus. Don't stop waiting for him to enter your life, enter your situation, enter your sin. Maybe he's just trying to see the quality of your seed of faith. Maybe he's just trying to see, what are you willing to wait him out? See, God has a perfect timing, and I know, especially when it's our children, or it's something pressing in our life, or it's our husband, or it's our family, we want things now. We don't want to have to wait. We don't want to have to suffer. We don't have to watch our family, our loved ones, our babies go through things. I don't want to have to watch my son struggle to breathe at night before he got his CPAP machine and tonsil taken. I didn't want to have to see him go ash white because he had no blood in his body. But there are times that God's saying, go a little further. It's going to get a little worse, but I will not leave you nor forsake you. I will meet you right in the right time frame. There is a timing for God. And so your seed has a production date. So it means that when it goes to the ground and when you sow your faith, when you have, basically, like when you say, I'm going to believe for this, the day you decide I'm believing for this, and you put your seed into the ground, which means that you're determined in your spirit, it has a date that it will produce. It can't all happen in a day. And a lot of times the growth and the movement all happens underground. So you can't see nothing for a long time. But on just the right nick of time, a little encouragement will sprout up. And then one day you're going to wake up and your seed has become the tree. That your faith literally done something. It grew something. It became life. That's the thing about faith. It becomes life because it moves, it creates, it changes. I think that's all I wanted to say. I hope I spoke to somebody to not give up today. That don't worry, that if you don't got that big faith, go just like that father with your small faith, just your small determination to say, I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to see what else can happen. And I would just encourage you one more time, give it to Jesus. One more time, surrender your control. One more time, just say, God, I'm here in the crowd. See me, hear me, just like blind Bartimaeus. When he heard that Jesus was coming down, he began to scream out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. And just like this father said, he said, have compassion if you can. If there's anything you can do, God, have compassion on us. So I would just encourage you, one more time, cry out. One more time, give them to Jesus. One more time. See what he'll do, because like Jesus answered the Father, if I can, like, are you crazy? Are you asking me if I can? It was a joke, not to the Father, but like Jesus said, if I can. Do you know who you're talking to? Know who you're talking to, ladies. Know what he's capable of. Listen, I can tell you right now, he's a God of deliverance. He delivered me from sickness. He's a God who can crush the head of barrenness. He done that for me. You see how he's done it? He's a God who can heal sickness. He's Jehovah Rapha. You've seen that in my life. These are just a few incidents in my personal life where God has changed the outcome. He's delivered me from a generational curse of depression. He is able. He is able. But are you able to keep on keeping on? Are you able to continue to trust him? That even when others say no, and even when times before it was no, and even though the months prior was no, are you willing to say one more time, I'm going to give it to God. One more time, I'm going to trust him. One more time, I'm bringing my mustard seed, my itty bitty faith, and I'm going to let it grow into something that can become massive and huge. Okay, ladies, I hope that blessed and encouraged somebody today. Do not give up.